is the God that's getting ready to come back. That is Heru in his rising form. That's what the Sphinx is in the middle of the earth, called Haramakhet. God on the horizon, on the double horizon. You got a Nile on the east, which flows what? North. You got a Nile in the west that flows north. The Moors thought it was the Mississippi River, but it's the St. John's River in Jacksonville, Florida, which is the western Nile. It flows north. The St. John's River, that's the western Nile. Egypt is as big. Egypt would reach from here to D.C. So the part that they call Egypt on the western part comes from the tip of Florida on it up into Tennessee. This particular part here is a part of Egypt, the capital, Atlantis. The new Atlanta, Atlantis, which rose from the water. That's why they're building the cities downtown of Syriac architecture that they got out of the British Museum. They got out of Egypt, where they built pyramids, monuments, and temples to register the city around the star system Sirius. You see that downtown. Now, the book you want to get that's back in print is called Ancient Egypt, the Sirius Connection by Mary Hope. It came back in print. It was out of print for a while. And in here, in the part called Syrian Heritage, they're going to give you the article on where Atlanta built the city from around, trying to get some juice to save the white people. They said that the God said, we came from the south where the god Hapi dwelled. That's what the Egyptians said. So they said, they even knew that, Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, when the black man rises up in the south, it's all over. Because that's the most humble of us. You see what happened when we travel to the north? When we travel to the north. Right, huh?
I've been all over the U.S.
Yeah, but see, you got to realize this here too. When we saying the humble, Farrakhan used to tell the people, that brother on the tractor is your brother. Because they know ultimately with the great migration, you know they say the migration of the north was the biggest migration in world's history of a people. When black people traveled from the north, from the south to the north. But they knew that one day the brother that was on the tractor was going to be put under scrutiny for being a dumb country hick. And he would be the most humble. So when he say the black man in the south would rise up, because that would be the last one to get the knowledge. But he would be humble enough, because you would come into the south and you would fall under one of the most hideous things that would rise your ego to the worst level. Your ego is the part that keeps you dead. And there's one thing that rose the black man's ego to the highest level, and that's called cool. Cool. That's the sickness of cool. Cool is sick. When you, cool hides your real self. You just act cool. That's why the sisters say you know, and then you get the sisters acting cool. Cool hides that. You see what I'm saying? That's the ego. That's the inflation of the ego. And you inflate the ego, you are ingrained more into the physical world. A humble man is more to God. So you see an old country boy, he be humble and stuff. You see what I'm saying? So that's the one God say, I'll send you a country boy. That's why Honorable Elijah Muhammad rose up and went to the north. You see what I'm saying? It's because it's the humility. You see what I'm saying? Now, there might be some ignorance in there, but once the humble boy gets the knowledge, he uses it different than the brother that is arrogant. He uses the knowledge to shield his pathology, and he beats up on the people with it. But a humble boy, he's sincere, and they say, what? My sincerity is my credentials. So humility is the key to God. That's why the woman is God. You see what I'm saying? but even the woman done got crazy with this thing. You see what I'm saying? That's ego. If you ever see